Using a 19mm socket, go ahead and remove the wheels. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove this bolt here. I'm going to come across to here and remove this one, and there's one up top here. Just grab the shield. Reach around the back side, pop the little clip, and remove this cover. Now we're going to go ahead and remove a series of these plastic clips. There's roughly about 5 or 6 of them around the inside and around, so we'll go ahead and start with those. Using a Phillips head screwdriver here, we're going to go ahead and thread this out. Once we get to a certain point, we'll be able to use a trim tool remover to pop this little insert out. I'm going to go ahead and remove these 3 bolts right here. These are 10mm. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this fender liner back and just let that drop down there. And repeat for the other side. Using a 10mm socket, go ahead and remove the series of these bolts for the under and cover right across, and we're going to pop this plastic push pin right here and remove these 2 covers. Using a 13mm, we're going to go ahead and remove this bolt and this bolt here. Remove this 10mm nut here, and then there's a 10mm bolt right up top. We're going to go ahead and remove these 2. Next, we're going to go ahead and disconnect these 2 connectors here. This gray one here, just pinch this little tab here, and you might be able to use a pick to get in there and just pop that up. All right. You want to separate these tabs here. Use a pair of needle nose pliers if you want, and just pinch these in and push that up. Separate that. Remove this line from there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt here. It goes through on the front side. We're going to use a 10mm extension and socket and ratchet to get to that. This tank has windshield washer fluid in it. So when this bolt comes out, you want to support that tank. Before we remove this tank, here is the hose. We want to go ahead and pop this, and we're going to lose a little bit. You can drain this prior to doing this. We're just going to pop this hose off and put our finger over the nozzle right here. And then go ahead and wiggle this unit off of this lower stud here. Bring this around. Remove it, and then we'll drain it. I'm going to go ahead and remove the level sensor here and get underneath the rubber grommet and just pry that up. Go ahead and remove that from the unit itself. Installation, I'm going to go ahead and remove the grommet off of the original unit because the new tank comes with it. Simply slide that down and over. Line this up. Press that into place. All right, so we're going to go ahead and feed the fill neck up into the section under the hood, and then this bracket here, or this tab here, will have to go over the AC line right here and onto that stud. Go ahead and get this bracket up top. And we're going to start by putting on this 10mm nut on this stud right here. And just thread that down as far as you can, just to hold the tank in place. We're going to take this 10mm bolt and put it up on the top here. Just get that threaded in a little bit. Leave that loose so we have some mobility of that tank. Install this 10mm bolt up on the back side here. And just get that started a few threads. I'm going to go ahead and reach back up on the top here and go ahead and snug up that upper bolt. You can go ahead and pull the harness back over and through. I'm going to go ahead and snug up these bolts right here. Just snug, and then we'll get to that upper bolt up here. Let's go ahead and pop this plastic clip in place there. We can connect the rubber hose by just pressing it on to that. Reconnect your connectors. And they'll pop that hose right into that clip. That's it. On the front side, we have a little fog light harness clip right here that just pops in. All right, we're going to go ahead and reinstall this under shield here. I'm just going to get a couple of these screws started around the perimeter. Go ahead and get this lined up. And we're going to get the plastic insert lined up here. Push that up, lock that in. We'll go ahead and get a rear bolt lined up. I'm just going to go ahead and snug these down. Take the metal retainer clip, put that in. Push the liner back up inside. Line that up. We'll go ahead and take one of the mounting screws, push it up. Line it up into the body or the chassis here. And go ahead and get a couple threads started. Do the same here. Get that started, and then do the same on the last. Using your 10mm, go ahead and just snug these down. And repeat for the other side. Then we're going to use a 13mm and tighten these two up. Installing this inner shield, push it up behind the cover, and there is a plastic pin lock tab that you want to just push forward here. You can get that lined up. You can do this before or after. You get the liner in. There's the hole there. Insert and just lock it in. On these two spots, go ahead and put your 10mm bolts. You just want to go ahead and get those started by hand. So one more 10mm screw. We're going to put that in the back. I'm going to go ahead and use a 10mm socket. We're just going to snug that down. There we go. And then our last 10mm screw, we'll put that in, and we'll go ahead and snug that down. Let's go ahead and start by inserting our retainer pins. There'll be a few of these around the perimeter. Go ahead and install the wheel. We're going to go ahead and torque these down to 76 foot-pounds, so we have the weight of the vehicle down on the wheel itself.